Greetings, 5th grade. This is your weekly literature check-in for Johnny Tremain. So you have finished reading part 5 and you're ready to move on to part 6. And what I'd like to do is just check in and recap the main events of part 5. I also wanted to go over a couple of new vocabulary words that you're going to see in part 6 and then give you your assignment as you read part 6. So for part 5, let's just go through the main events here. So at the beginning of part 5, Johnny has just been, well, previously in part 4 at the very end, he was found innocent of the accusation by Mr. Light of stealing his cup. So he's set free, and he and Scylla and Isana and Rab and the gang all enjoy lunch at the Afric Queen, which is a tavern, and there Rab explains to Johnny how he was able to get Scylla to court in time to testify. He did deceive Mrs. Lapham. He showed her an official letter from the governor that had actually been sent to the Boston Observer telling them they needed to stop printing information that went against England and the king, but it had the official governor's seal on it, and so Rab showed it to Mrs. Lapham, who of course can't read, and said, oh, the governor says that, Scylla must be present in court to testify. So Mrs. Lapham had no idea what it said and believed Rab's deception, and that was able to get Scylla to court in time to testify on Johnny's behalf. So now, with Johnny being found innocent, he doesn't want to go back to live with the Laphams for obvious reasons. He's really no good to them there and is not treated well. So he goes back to the print shop and is able to get a job from Uncle Lorne as a delivery boy. And he's also taught how to ride a horse. And he's given this horse to ride, Goblin, which is a beautiful, good horse, but spooks very easily and is really difficult to ride. But Johnny takes riding lessons and seems to know how to interact with Goblin well and be patient with him, and is successful and begins delivering papers for the Boston Observer. He also, now that he's living with Rab and Uncle Lorne, he's able to enjoy a little bit more free time. And in his free time, he enjoys lots of reading and spending time with Uncle Lorne's baby son, whom Johnny affectionately nicknames Rabbit. He loves that little boy. He's pretty cute. And also, later on in this part 5 that you read, Johnny runs into Scylla at the town pump and learns the news that Mr. Tweedy is, forcing Scylla to go fetch the water, and she and Johnny make a deal that they'll meet each other. I believe it's every Thursday and Sunday at the town pump. Later, Johnny, as you move through part 5, you notice that he becomes more mature. He notices that Rab is slow to anger and patient with others, and Johnny starts to take on more of that attitude as he models his behavior a lot after Rab, and he finds that if he is not so impatient and so angry and insulting to people, that actually it pays off. And in fact, when he goes to deliver a paper to Mr. Sam Adams' house, one of the slaves there throws dishwater out and it hits Johnny, and the old Johnny would normally have, screamed or yelled or insulted her and been so quick to anger, but the newer Johnny is forgiving and patient, and is rewarded by the kitchen slave with a nice slice of pie, and he's able to meet Mr. Sam Adams, who is impressed with him and who offers him a job delivering for his Patriot group, the Committees of Correspondence. So Johnny has begun to mature. Hopefully you've seen that, and his life's changed dramatically in part 5. So I think he learns that compassion and hard work are not only good things, but they can benefit, and they can help Johnny get ahead. So as you begin to read part 6, Saltwater Tea, hopefully you know what that title has to do with, the Boston Tea Party. I wanted to point out a couple of vocabulary words that you're going to encounter and just go ahead and define them for you now. So the first vocabulary word that you'll come across in part 6 is placard. A placard, that's a noun, is a notice that's posted in public. So if you can just think about like if you see flyers stapled to, street signs or telephone poles, you can think of that as a placard. So Johnny is asked to post some placards. And so that's what a placard is a notice posted in public. Later on in the chapter, Johnny is called an impertinent imp. And the word impertinent is an adjective. It means rude and disrespectful. So Johnny goes to deliver some papers to a reverend's house on the Sabbath, which of course is breaking the law. And I believe the reverend's wife calls him an impertinent imp. So that just means he's rude and disrespectful. The last word that you may not know is divulge, which is a verb. So to divulge means to tell or reveal or to make known. So Johnny and Rab are taken into the confidence of Sam Adams, and he divulges some information to them about the Sons of Liberty and about their plans. And he asks Johnny and Rab, please do not divulge this secret information. Don't reveal it, don't tell it. So those 3 words you'll see as you read. So your focus for part 6 is not working on any questions. Instead, I'd like for you to practice writing a chapter summary for each chapter in part 6. There are 6 chapters. So when you get to the end of chapters 1 and 2, go back, write a 1 to 2 sentence summary for chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 as you read, and just make sure again that your chapter summary is descriptive and that it is complete. It answers all questions, the how and the why, and proofread those as well. So that's your focus for part 6 of Johnny Tremaine's Saltwater Tea. I hope you enjoy the reading.